The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. If you have a closet full of abandoned dreams, stay with me for the next 5 minutes. Right now, someone in your life thinks you're broken. Maybe it's your parents, your partner, that voice in your own head at 2 a.m. They've watched you start things you never finish. The guitar gathering dust, the half-built website, the Italian lessons you quit after 3 weeks, that sudden obsession with leather crafting, and they've labeled you unfocused, scattered, a quitter. But here's what neuroscience just discovered. What if I told you that your brain isn't broken? It's doing exactly what it was designed to do in 2026. You know that phrase people throw at you? Jack of all trades, master of none. They always leave out the second half. But oftentimes, better than a master of one. That's not just a saying, that's evolutionary psychology, and it's about to change how you see yourself. Before I show you the science behind this, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. How many unfinished projects do you have right now? Be honest, 3, 7, 15? Because that number is about to become your superpower. Here's the trap you've been living in. For the last 100 years, society ran on one operating system, the I-shaped mind. Pick one thing. Go deep. Become the world's best at that one narrow skill. It worked beautifully in 1987. But look around. Taxi drivers became obsolete when Uber launched. Graphic designers got replaced by Canva. Customer service reps lost jobs to ChatGPT. Entire industries vanished in 18 months. The world you were told to prepare for, it doesn't exist anymore. Psychologists now call our modern world a wicked environment. Not evil, wicked as in unpredictable. The rules change mid-game, skills expire like milk, certainty is dead. And here's the kicker. Your nervous system already knows this. That's why you can't commit to one thing. Not because you lack discipline, but because your brain is unconsciously protecting you. Every time you pivot to a new interest, you're not failing. You're doing something called far transfer, collecting cognitive tools from completely unrelated domains. Think about it. A web developer who used to be a beekeeper. They don't just write code, they understand ecosystem thinking, feedback loops, emergence patterns. That's not random, that's synthesis. And synthesis is the #1 skill AI can't replicate. But let's be real for a second. Understanding this doesn't erase the pain, does it? You still look at people your age, senior engineers, published authors, business owners, people who picked one thing, and you feel like you're still at the starting line, falling behind, wasting time. Pause. Let that land. I need to tell you something that might hurt at first, but will set you free. You're not behind. You're just measuring yourself with the wrong ruler. You're not T-shaped, one deep skill. You're M-shaped, multiple pillars of depth connected by curiosity. But here's the trap that destroys most multi-potentialists. You try to build all the pillars at once, learning Python, plus writing a novel, plus starting a podcast, plus launching a business, all in the same month. That's not polymathy, that's psychological self-sabotage. True polymaths practice something different, serial mastery. They live in seasons. Your 20s might belong to music and art. Your 30s pivot to programming for income stability. Your 40s fuse both into creative technology. You're not abandoning anything, you're completing chapters. There's a 53-year-old man who just figured this out. For 30 years, he tried to be just a programmer or just a musician. He kept failing at both. Then he stopped forcing the choice. Programming became the pillar that paid bills. Music, philosophy, game design lived on nights and weekends. He turned down promotions that would drain his creative energy. And over 5 years, those skills naturally converged into his own indie game studio. He didn't force the fusion. He trusted the geometry of his own mind. There's one more reason you're built this way, and it comes from evolutionary biology: redundancy. In nature, redundancy isn't wasteful, it's survival insurance. Elephants rarely get cancer. Why? They carry 20 copies of a cancer-fighting gene. If one fails, 19 others take over. Your diverse skills work exactly the same way. If you're only a software engineer and AI replaces your job, existential panic. But if you're a software engineer who also taught workshops, built furniture, ran a side photography business. You're not just employable, you're unbreakable. You weren't wasting time dabbling. You were building a cognitive safety net for a world where nothing is permanent. So stop apologizing for your graveyard of hobbies. Those weren't failures. They were semesters in the university you built for yourself. Every abandoned project taught you how to learn, how to start, how to recognize patterns across disciplines. You were never meant to be one thing. You were built to be the bridge between worlds most people can't even see. The translators, the connectors, the synthesizers. In a world drowning in specialists, you are the rare generalist. And that's not a consolation prize. That's the future. If something just clicked, drop a heart in the comments and tell me, which abandoned hobby are you going to reframe as a semester you completed? For the deep research on structuring your life in seasons, the psychology of serial mastery and M-shaped thinking, check the newsletter linked below. Your chaos was never the problem. It was the signal.